So I'm joined now with Tim Reid, running for place 1 for the election on May 3rd. So we're just talking with the candidates, trying to get to know everyone that's running for the city council. So just talk a little bit about your kind of your history here in Amarillo, and kind of introduce yourself to the people that are thinking about voting on May 3rd.
Sure. I was transferred here in 1986 by the FBI. I started my career in Dallas. I was there for about 2 months. And I was asked if I'd be willing to come up to Amarillo, a 4-man RA, resident agency. And it was supposed to be an 18-month tour. And that turned into 19 years. Amarillo became home very quickly as the people here were inviting and generous. I was welcomed into the community right off the bat. And I found that it was a great place to live. And I got married, had a family. And so this became home. And in 2005, I was promoted and transferred out to West Virginia and Washington, D.C., and decided to move back to Amarillo when I retired in 2013. And when I came back here, I took a job as a teacher and director of safety and security up at Ascension Academy, eventually becoming the athletic director, and stayed there for 11 years, and now I'm at the Texas Panhandle War Memorial as the executive director.
So as you've raised a family here, as you have, like you said, made this your home, what is some of the things that you have seen here, and things you have seen that made you want to run for Amarillo City Council?
Well, Amarillo is a great place for families. It's a great place for businesses, and we want to make sure that as we look to the future, that it maintains those things. We have some major issues that we have to address over the next few years. And I think the present council and the council before that have done a good job in working some of those things. But I think we need a new set of eyes on things. I come with a different skill set than others on the council now. And it's just something that is in my blood. I've come from a lifelong attitude of service, and that's all this is another service to the community, but using the life experiences, both professional and personal, that you can bring to the table that will make Amarillo move forward for the future.
Yeah, and in that service capacity, what do you hope to bring to City Council if you are elected?
Well, most people that know me in the identities of that, and they know my time here as an agent on the street. What most people don't know is that the 8 years that I was gone from here, I was on a diplomatic tour, and had a tour to South America, Africa, and Asia in those times. And those experiences, and seeing when a town doesn't have a proper water facility or wastewater facility, those things, you see those and how people live. And you realize, wait a second, with the issues Amarillo is having right now, we could be one of those cities that I visited. So I come with open eyes of having those experiences and having to live, on bottled water. So those are things that we bring from the professional end. Budgets that I worked. I worked on 2 large IT projects for the Bureau. I ran the business side of those. One was a brand new system that was being built. So having to deal with the budgets, federal budgets, as we're learning, aren't the most easiest thing to develop and work through. And so knowing how budgets work and what are the things that you need to prioritize in a budget, or when you're, like in my case, building a system, what are the things you are prioritizing on the initial build of that, and how do you move forward with it? Those are things that I bring to the table, and I think that experience is something that Amarillo needs at this time.
And so was there any one thing in particular, or was it kind of maybe a combination of things that made you want to run for this council? Was there anything that made you want to run?
I think the major thing is that I care about Amarillo, since it is home, and I want to see it be a place for growth for families and for businesses coming in here. I want it to maintain its culture. Those are important things to the city of Amarillo, and I just want to see it be a great place where people want to move. And for my, I have 2 children that live here now, 2 that are away. I'd like to see them all come back here. Job opportunities. How do we create those good-paying job opportunities? It's nice to say we created 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 jobs, but if they're all low-paying jobs, that doesn't give all of our children that go away to college, it doesn't give them that result to come back here and make this a place to live. So we want to look at that in the future as to where we're going.
And what are you hearing from constituents that are talking to you, and talking about the issues? What are they saying to you? Or
well, the big thing is the transparency of things. We don't always know what's going on, and given the present climate, I think that's the most important thing. Got to remember that as a council member, you really are a representative of the population here at Amarillo, and so it's not just for a certain section of Amarillo; it's for the whole town. And there are issues all over town that need to be addressed. As far as development, redevelopment. And so I think that is the first thing, is transparency. The other is the infrastructure. We hear about the potholes and the fact that we are maintaining our water waste system with, we've limped along for the last couple of years, and we're going to be hit with a big bill in replacing that treatment system. And the question is, how do we pay for it out of the budget that we have? So I think those are the big issues right now, if you were to ask me. And then, of course, public safety. If we don't live in a safe community, that's really the foundation of everything else that comes. The average person, no matter where you live in town, you care about a couple things. You care that when you turn the faucet on, clean water's coming out. You care that when you flush the toilet, it's moving and not coming back into your house. You care about the roads that you go to work on, go to take your kids to school, to their sporting events and other activities. Those are the things. You care if when you pick up the phone and dial 911, those emergency services that you are in need of are going to be responding in a quick time. That's what the average person cares about. And those are the things that have to be addressed, because those are the things that are here now that we have to take care of. It's great to look to the future. What are we going to look like and what are we going to build to? But one of the most important things is make sure that we maintain those things that we have here.
And so I guess what's some of those things that I guess people are asking for when it comes to infrastructure and wastewater? Because we're hearing that a lot, is infrastructure and wastewater. Right. What's some of those things that you would be looking for? Well,
I mean, how are we going to pay for the new wastewater system? We've got to have it, because if you don't have it, you don't have a city. And so the question is going to be how we get those funds. And there's going to be funds available, federal funds and state funds. But how is the city going to manage that? Because even though you have the plans to do this, it's going to take 3 to 4 years to build the plant. And so we really have to be addressing that. And that's really the main issue when you get down to the nuts and bolts. And the others are the streets, with the potholes and the maintenance of the streets. And we've kicked those things down the street long enough. And those, they're being addressed to a point. But we have to look even further, because what we have in maintenance in a budget doesn't come near what the expenses are that we have out there. So it's going to be whoever gets this seat in any of the seats on the council has a tough job, because we only have limited dollars coming in, and how to use those that are most efficient and effective for the city. And as I would propose to people, the most effective and efficient way is make sure we take care of what we have now, because if we don't, and it's not working for our needs presently, doesn't matter what we try to get into the future, because businesses aren't going to move in here, families aren't going to be moving in here because we can't support that.
And then another thing, of course, it's a kind of a hot button issue right now is the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation. How would you like to maybe work alongside, if you are elected with the city council, work alongside the AEDC?
Well, the Economic Development Corporation is a necessity here in town. You know, as we look at what has gone on, I was not on the AEDC board. I was not on the council with everything that's gone on. I don't know all of the information that has been put out there, we've been bombarded with. I can only draw some conclusions. And then I have to go back to my professional experience and look at that. And those are the set of eyes that I bring that are different because of what I did for the majority of my lifetime. As a council member, we have to work with the AEDC. If we want to have economic development, we want to maintain what we have here, that's why it was created. And so we just have to do a better job of being transparent in what's going on. I think when we hold people responsible for things when it may not have been clear in the bylaws from the beginning, and we look at that and say, oh, they did something wrong, I don't think that's right. We got to remember that all of us are in this together. We're all citizens of Amarillo. These are our neighbors, our friends. We go to church with them. We're in civic groups with them. And to cast a negative eye on our citizens, and I won't do that because I don't have all the facts. And but whatever board is put together for the AEDC, we'll work hand in hand, make sure that there's transparency with what's going on, and that that Amarillo gets the best bang for its buck.
Well, Tim, I want to give you the opportunity to speak directly to constituents out there, people who are going to be voting, to speak directly to them about what you hope to accomplish if you are elected to the city council.
You know, what I have learned in the last month, this is a complicated mechanism. Local government, unlike the state and federal government, really affects everybody on a daily basis. And so the learning curve for anybody that gets on the council is dramatic. The amount of reading material that I've already tried to go through, and you try to stay up on everything, is daunting. And so that first part is to get our feet on the ground and make sure we understand the issues. You know, the budget is not an easy thing either because, like I said, we have limited resources, and we're trying to provide those resources to 250 programs in the city. You know, are there ones we can do without? That I don't know because I'm not on the present council and I don't have access to all those things. Those are things that we're going to look at. You know, I come with a skeptical eye as it is, and so I'm going to be looking at things to make sure those are programs that are effective and efficient and affect everybody in the community. We got to make sure that what we use, our resources, are equitable throughout the community, and so that's what I'm going to bring is that open eye, and just make sure that we're trying to do the right thing and that we're transparent with what we're doing.
Election is on May 3rd. The first day of early voting is on April 22nd. Tim Reid, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.